Hello, and welcome to I Love Warhammer. And this is a slightly different episode because my first ever video on this channel was Why I Love the Necrons. They may not be the army I'd ever want to take to a tournament per se, but they are definitely my favourite faction in the world of 40k. So naturally, I went to pre-order the new Codex when it came out for 10th edition, along with the dice and each of the three brand new models: the new Emetic the Stormlord, the new Oracle the Diviner, and the new Overlord with the Translocation Shroud. And so, so three new models: Codex, the dice, and the data cards. And so I ordered that on pre-order day. It was 10 a.m. and I ordered it from my phone in bed. The day of recording this is the 18th of December. It was the day that my Why I Love Iron Hands video was scheduled to go up. I'm actually recording this just under an hour after that had gone up. This box should contain, unless I've been royally messed over, that Necron pre-order. It only arrived on Saturday the 15th. They took a lot. They've been taking a lot longer to dispatch since the website updated. So this is going to be, I'm not going to call it an unboxing video, but this is definitely my first impressions of the Codex and the models. I've deliberately avoided all videos regarding what the models look like, and I've also been trying to avoid as many rule spoilers for the Necrons as possible. I mean, the chances are, if you're watching this video, you've watched Auspex Tactics, and I did watch some of his earlier stuff regarding the updates to reanimation protocols, which I think is a nerf but is easy to understand and explain. So we'll see how that goes. I've also got on the screen, so I've got two screens behind the camera. One is over here, and that contains the feed of the camera, so I can see what I'm looking at. Am I in shot enough? And on this screen over here, that's just another screen I got going. And right now it's got the Warhammer, the My Warhammer account open. So it can't be seen, and of course I'm not doing this live, so I can redeem my code for the Necron Codex as soon as I've opened it up. If any editing of this video looks a bit choppy, it's because when I watched it back, I saw that I'd accidentally revealed some kind of private information, and I just cut that bit. So there's a chance if that happens, you might miss me saying something that was important, because I do what I can to not script my videos. Some of my earlier ones did have a pseudo script going. So this is not going to be shown to the camera because that is a receipt of all the things. These tubes. Next, I've got a bin just next to my desk where I record, where I work, and do all that stuff. Okay, so just to let you guys know, the box is this high, and maybe the top 3/4. So yeah, that much of the box is empty. But we have Oracle the Diviner. We have Imhotep the Stormlord. And we have the Overlord with the Translocation Shroud. Let's pop these down. New Necron dice. It's a far smaller box than the previous edition's Necron dice. The data cards. And the reason I went for a pre-order rather than just ordering the special edition Codex. So the back of this is beautiful. Like, that is so sleek. I love this. And the art on the front, also glorious. I'm glad this one says Codex Necrons, because I think the Special Edition Chaos Knights Codex from last edition didn't actually say Chaos Knights. You just have to infer it from the art. I also love how the pages have the green side to them. It's so cool. For what it's worth, I do fully advocate for codexes to be renamed codices, because that's the correct plural in every other context other than Warhammer. But also, I would advocate for digital codexes being put up for free, because, to be entirely honest, it is an outdated system. You know, give the rules for free, and then people like me will still order this for the pages of lore. So let's do the admin-y bit first, and then I'm gonna do the open the stuff that isn't the book. And that has been redeemed. So now I don't have to worry so much if the code accidentally ends up on display in this video. But we're going to come back to this. Does anyone else ever intend on reading all the lore in the codex and then just never quite get around to it? Because I find that I absorb a lot of lore through other means, and I should read every piece of lore from the codex. I just never get around to it. Oh, the data cards. Before Forge World and Games Workshop merged on the website, I was very proud of having every non-Forge World Necron unit. And I don't know if they've got data cards for these, for the previously Forge World units. So they've got... So, interesting. The index cards looked like they were double-sided, but these ones don't seem to be. Also, they're weirdly sticky. I just picked up two by accident. So you've got Silent King, Deadly Demise, Reanimation, Voice of the Trial, Silent King, Immortal Stormlord, got Illuminor Saras. I love my Illuminor Saras, but I never actually run them. I just find that they always seem like they're too expensive for what he does. So mechanical augmentation. While a friendly Necron battle line unit is within 3 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, improve the AP by 1 and worsen the AP of the opposing attack by 1. But then I always find that because you have to be attached to a unit of battle line models for that. For what I tend to come up against, changing the AP by 1 doesn't make me more resilient and doesn't make me more killy. So I find I never really use Illuminor Saras. And same for Trials in the Infinite. Like, I love the Infinite and the Divine. It's the one, it's rated so highly by anyone who reads it for a reason. It's a phenomenally good book. The Oracle and the Diviner. And it's interesting to me that they do separate out Overlord from Overlord with Translocation Shroud. Because it's the same stat line. The only difference seems to be they've got the same ability, same keyword, same faction ability. The only difference is, so the regular Overlord has Staff of Light with Tachyon Arrow, melee weapons, Overlord's Blade, Staff of Light, Void Scythe. He's got a Resurrection Orb. Whereas the Overlord with Translocation Shroud he only gets the Overlord's blade. He has no ranged weaponry. I'm not going to sit here and read through every card. I didn't expect that. I didn't manage to get any data cards when the indexes came out, so I found that they were very. I thought they'd be kind of the size of the Magic the Gathering cards rather than far larger than that. I cannot tell if these have been stuck together or not. Psychomancer. I love the Chronomancer. I just think I love the orb carrying. Shard of the Deceiver. Shard of the Nightbringer. Shard of the Void Dragon that doesn't look like a dragon. Transcendent Satan. I've got to say, I do find it really funny how they keep making the Transcendent Satan more and more playable. It becomes better and better every time there's an FAQ, every time there's any kind of buff occurring. But it's still contained within the kit that also builds the obelisk, which is consistently viewed as a really mid-tier at best unit. When it was revealed, when it was leaked that we were going to lose a few data sheets, I genuinely thought that they might try and combine the obelisk and Transcendent Satan together to be like another form for the Tesseract Vault. Guard, Praetorians, Deathmarks, Blade Ones, So it's interesting. Not all the sheets do get double-sided, but some are. So like the Overlord is a double-sided data card, but Lockhurst Destroyer is single-sided. Destroyers, Canoptic Reanimator, Swarm, Spiders. Wraith's the backbone of the Necrons army, from my view. Canoptic Doomstalker. I loved painting up my Canoptic Doomstalker. I was so happy about that. Annihilation Barge, Doomstalk, Ghost Ark. People often talk about the like points cost to playability. It's like usefulness. That's a really they're measurable metric. The Ghost Ark is so fiddly to build that I could never own more than one. Like if I got gifted a Ghost Ark, I'd make a Doomsday Ark. If I was gifted a fully built Ghost Ark, sure thing, but I'm never going to ask anyone for that because that's just too much effort because they're so fiddly. Obelisk, Tesseract Vault, Convergence of Dominion, Monolith, and then the Combat Patrol data sheets. That's nice. I like that we still get cards for the Combat Patrols. And Army Rule. Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm going to read this word for word. I'm not going to filter this until I've already read through it. And I'm reading through this for the first time on camera. Reanimation protocols. The Necron dynasties benefit from the Nion supernatural technologies that once saw them dominate the galaxy, perhaps the most unsettling of which are their reanimation protocols. Should a Necron be slain, its body becomes wreathed in an eerie glow. Crawling limbs reattach, sundered torsos and smashed skulls reform amidst emerald sparks. Witchlights flare back to life within dead-eye lenses, and the Necron rises again, shambling back into their battle line. Those Necrons, too catastrophically damaged for reform, vanish instead, teleported away to their tombs for repair. If your army faction is Necrons, at the end of your command phase, each unit from your army with this ability that is on the battlefield activates its reanimation protocols and activates D3 wounds. Each unit. If that unit contains one or more models with fewer than the starting number of wounds, select one of those models. That model regains one lost wound. If all models in that unit have their starting number of wounds, but that unit is not at starting strength, one destroyed model is returned to that unit with one wound remaining. Once such a unit is at starting strength and all of its models have their starting number of wounds, nothing further happens. So, okay, example. A unit of Lockhurst destroyed, which have a wound characteristic of 3, activates its reanimation protocols. The unit had a starting strength of 3, but currently consists of 2 models, and one of those models has lost 1 wound. A 3 is rolled to see how many wounds are reanimated. The first of these reanimated wounds restores the wounded Lockhurst destroyer back to 3 wounds. The second of these reanimated wounds returns the destroyed Lockhurst destroyer to the battlefield with 1 wound remaining. The third of these reanimated wounds restores one of the remaining lost wounds to the same Lockhurst destroyer that was just returned. The unit now contains 3 models, 2 of which have 3 wounds remaining, and 1 of which has 2 wounds remaining. To me, that sounds like you are never going to get more than the you're never going to get more than 3 warriors back. So yeah, reading it word for word like that makes it sound so much more like a nerf than it did before. I kind of wish it was like 1d3 for, I think what could potentially work. Like if it was say like 1d3 for every 5 models in the unit starting strength, that might be a bit better. Where like if you've got a unit of 5 models, you get 5 or fewer models, you get 1d3. 6 to 10 models, you get 2d3s. 11 to 15, you get 3. 16 to 20, you get 4d3s. So just okay, forget game balance for a moment. Yeah, when you're thinking about the fluff of Necrons, the way I described it there, like they come back to life. To me, it always comes across. It always felt more like they should be like the Army of the Dead in Game of Thrones, where you think you've slain them, but there's one left, and so they all start rising again. Obviously, you couldn't have them all rise again every time because that would be entirely unbalanced. But only 3, and that's 3 maximum. That's like 3 warriors. 3 1-wound models could come back. That's definitely feeling more like a nerf than it did before. Okay, let's open something else that shouldn't be able to disappoint me. When I do the Why I Love Necrons Redux, the kind of remake of that first episode, now I've got a higher quality webcam and a better and a good microphone, and a format that feels like it works better. I am definitely not going to be talking about those reanimation protocols. Not mechanically. The channel is Why I Love, and it's meant to be a place for positivity. Okay. Necron dice. What's interesting with these is they are in the Caesarican Dynasty colour scheme. It's that Runelord brass colour with the green. The launch edition dice for 9th edition, when they launched the Caesarican Dynasty, were still metallic grey and silver. Do I have access to my... Okay, my dice bag is a little bit inaccessible right now. So it almost makes it's interesting to me that they made it this way around. But it's Warhammer. This is how Warhammer dice should be. You've got it's a pretty dice. It's got nice and swirly, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the faction symbol for the 6. That is all Warhammer dice need to be. So this is going to be my third set of Necron dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Two fewer dice than you got in the previous box, but I'm fine with that, honestly. My dice bag is getting very full. And I think these are actually a bit cheaper than the previous ones were. So yeah, So I've got this set. I've got the set from 9th edition, and they do it perfectly. They have it where you've got exactly as I said they should be. You've got dots for the numbers and a faction symbol for the 6. I've got another set of Necron dice that was gifted to me during 8th edition, where like the 2 and the 5 are printed just to be the same as each other but upside down. That is not a good time trying to read that. So I'm very happy that they've continued that improvement. Okay, let's open up these guys from their plastic. I'm not going to build these live on camera. That's just not how I operate. So, Immortech the Stormlord. Oof. So he's got base, he's got his kit, he's got his not tactical rock, little instruction manual. Okay, it says 5 steps. Really not bad. So yeah, let's pop this back. Interestingly, so for like Dared Gobbo for the Warhammer Plus miniatures, they put them in a little like black plastic holder to keep the box bit sturdier. But they didn't do that for this. Probably because it's going to be it should be part of the range for longer, and they just didn't want to be using that much plastic. But that's just me guessing. Okay, Oricon the Diviner, after whom I named the Dungeons and Dragons character once. My character was not meant to be Oricon the Diviner at all. They were a crazy paladin, but so again, got one sprue like this. Again, 5 steps to build. When I was talking about this model with a friend who plays, they were saying they were quite upset they'd given Oricon a nose. I can kind of see what they mean, that he's been given a nose, but I don't see it myself. I'm looking forward to building this one. I love building that. I love building models. I love painting Necrons. Okay. This model is going to be an interesting one to paint because it's been sculpted to be like halfway through teleportation. So this is interesting. This one has the little black container. The other two didn't. Maybe it was a packaging oversight or something, but oh, and that got folded up. So got a slightly dogged instruction. That's interesting. This one is far. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. There are literally 5 pieces to this model. It's an yeah. This is a far far smaller model. Okay. So those are the 3 new kits that the Necrons have received. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss Nemesis Zandrak. I'm gonna miss Vargard Oberon. I'm gonna definitely miss Anglica the Traveller. He was a model that was sorely in need of some kind of extrapolation in the lore. Let's have a look at the Codex. Start out with some really just classic Necron art. They're fighting the Eldar. One thing I find that's interesting is it feels like they're blending paint schemes with the Necrons a bit. It's like half of it's Cesaric and half of it's Imhotep the Stormlord's dynasty. Sautek, that's the one. Sautek. I've got some diary entries. This was the Necron art that was used when I first got into the game in 4th edition. This was the front. That was used as the cover for the Battle Force box. That's what they were called back then, Battle Forces. So this to me is just the absolute coolest. It's the classic monolith and classic Necron warriors and the scarabs. And in fact, you can tell this is an older armor because the monolith has a crystal, which is the old monolith, not the new monolith. So I've got some bedtime reading here. Got some stuff like Luminal Zaras, the Pariah Nexus, Immortality, Tomb Worlds. I've got some bedtime reading here. Stars, the Pharaons. See, this is interesting. They cut Amrica the Traveller. Amrica the Traveller does not have a model anymore, not a supported model. But page 30, this is a story about Amrica the Traveller. So that's interesting. Maybe they'll bring him back. I hope so. It still mentions Zandrak and Oberon. So, yeah, interesting that they're still in the Codex, that they just don't have data cards at all. I'm low-key wondering if that's because they're kind of next in line to be brought back. Cesarican Dynasty with Cesaric King. Imhotep, Sautek Dynasty. Nefrek. Nihilek Dynasty, Novok. Got another story here. Paint jobs. Got just various color schemes. Just showing off what models look like. Combat Patrol. Painting Combat Patrol. It's interesting. So, okay. For my Necrons, it's silver green. Like maybe a bit for the details. And black, green, silver. 3 colors plus detail. Painting your Combat Patrol. You will need, to make the most of this painting guide, we recommend you use a Citadel brush and the Citadel colour paints shown here. We also recommend using multiple thin coats where needed to achieve good coverage. That's not out of the ordinary. That's, they sell brushes, buy our brushes. We sell paints, use our paints. Bear in mind, I use 3 colours for my Necrons. Here are the paints they recommend: Runelord Brass, Angrax Earthshade, Canoptech Alloy, Runefang Steel, Iron Warriors, Nuln Oil, Abaddon Black, Mechanica Standard Grey, Caliban Green, Corax White, Tesseract Glow, Astro Granite. That's 12. They've got 12 paints. I mean, granted, one is a baiting material. 12 pots that are being recommended to paint these guys up. It's going to cost more in paint than it's going to cost to buy the kit. To buy the kit. I mean, not to buy the whole combat patrol, but so I always find I find it incredibly hard to use official Games Workshop painting guides because I just find that there are so many colours they want you to use that just don't work for me personally. Force of the Necrons K. Got the army rule, the enhancements. Yeah, we've got the Veil of Darkness. That's the enhancement that I always use because it's just a free teleport from one side of the field to the other. That said, 4 up no pain would be very nice. Got some stratagems. Interestingly, so that's for the Awakened Dynasty. The Annihilation Legion don't get that shroud. That's for your Destroyer Cults and Flayed Ones. The Canoptech Court, this is what I'd be playing because I love my I love my Canoptech Wraiths and my Scarabs. So yeah, Runner Cryptech. I think my current list for this dynasty that I'm hoping is still going to work with the points update is a Cryptech, 2 Satan Shards, 2 units of Canoptech Wraiths, 2 Doomstalkers, and some Immortals. But I'll double check that list. Probably if my webcam's my phone, and my phone's the thing which has my army lists. Forget I already have a phone. A webcam with the same camera quality is so much more expensive. The Obsidian's Phalanx, the Hypercrypt Legion. Is the Hypercrypt Legion the one that encourages monoliths? See, this is interesting. Like, this was always there was a dynasty. Yeah, it must be this one. But so there was meant to be a detachment that would incentivize you to run monoliths. I'm quite excited about that because I love monoliths. I think they're really cool as models. I've got 2, an old one and a new one, Crystalline Orb. But there's no mention about monoliths in any of these. Deep Strike, Advanced Rolls, Target Infantry. Yeah, okay, so it must be the Hypercrypt Legion. You can spend 2 CP to redeploy some Necrons infantry next to your monolith. And the second one, 2 CP, a unit that came from the monolith can charge. Titanic model. You can give weapons. You can give Titanic models hazardous when shooting. So it feels like the way you're supposed to play this. It feels like the way you're supposed to play the Hypercrypt Legion is you get a couple of monoliths, a couple of units of warriors or immortals, teleport your monoliths around, and then have them followed by the Necron warriors. I can see that being very intimidating, very good for mind games. Some example armies. So, okay, this is interesting. That there, it's not focusing very well is they've got an Age of Sigmar model, but they've painted up green. And I'm just Jack painted his colourful and gilded legion using rich teal to contrast with the other areas of dark metal and glittering golds, signifying they served the Nihilic dynasty. He imagines the tomb world that his Necrons hail from has gone into overdrive, cannibalizing ancient mechanisms to create or augment his dynastic force. The idea has inspired him to create many conversions using various parts from across Necron's range of models to evoke this backstory. He has replaced the legs of his overlord, Thekmothis, with the serpentine lower body of the Canoptek Wraiths. And retained several mechanical elements of the obelisk to surround his transcendent Satan. Okay. To create a technological cage around the enslaved being. Also, Scarab Swarms. So, yeah, it does just straight up look like that they've used an Age of Sigmar model up here to represent a Transcendent Satan. Oh no, that's number one. Number two. Yeah, no, it is straight up Lady Alondir, Mortarch of Grief from the Warhammer Age of Sigmar range. Looking at the wrong faction. So yeah, this is the green light. This is the green light. I was saying how the Transcendent Satan was inseparable from the obelisk model. This codex has given us the green light, guys. I'm gonna have to go away and find some more models I can convert into being Transcendent Satan. If that's allowed and is in the codex, oh my god, that's gonna be so cool. I'm gonna be looking for models from the Age of Sigmar range that I can use to make into a second and third Transcendent Satan. Got one, it came with an obelisk. Oh my god. Actually, hang on, this first one. I don't know if my yeah, I have a Tesseract Vault, and I don't know if the Satan within's been glued in place. If it hasn't, I've got two Transcendent Satans, according to the Codex example armies. So yeah, I'm gonna be scouting around. Oh my god, sorry. This is so cool. I'm so happy this is a thing. It's okay. Hang on. If you're going to insist on people playing WYSIWYG entirely WYSIWYG, then I'm sorry, but what page are we on? Page 84 and 85 of the Necron Code 10th edition Codex shows that WYSIWYG is not required. Yeah, WYSIWYG isn't required, and I'm so happy about that. Third army, the example army, they've been painted to look like they're made of bones, which is that should be the thing I would be most hyped about. That should be what I'm spending ages raving about. They look really cool, but they aren't giving the green light to proxying. Okay, then we've got data sheets. I spent the beginning of this video going through the data cards. I'm just gonna quick scout through to see if I still have the same bragging right that I did before. Ophidians, Canoptek constructs, stalkers, ghost. Yeah. Okay. So all the stuff that was previously forward rolled isn't in the codex or in the data cards. Crusade, because my group, when we do get to meet up, we tend to do Crusade stuff. Oh my god, I think they might have fixed this. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna stay positive because I feel like it's what I'm about to say about why this is so good is requires me going on a little bit of a rant about the stuff that I wasn't such a fan of. Well, the next one's into battle trait. How do we gain a battle trait? Okay, I'm not seeing how you gain a battle trait, but generally speaking, yeah, gaining XP. I'm gonna have to go back through and figure out some and figure out how you get. Okay, so I'll double check the rest of the Crusade rules because I don't know how you gain a battle trait. But okay, so here's my problem with the old Crusade rules. It was that most of the upgrades and stuff you could get would only come into play when you won. So if you were having a 7 games in a row losing streak, which is very much what I had, you could never upgrade, which meant your opponents would get stronger and stronger and stronger, and you'd stay the same. But it looks like that's gone. It seems like you don't actually have to have won so many. It seems like you can upgrade without having won battles. So it does say when you proceed awaken tomb, you have to have won at least 2 battles, conquering tomb 6 battles, subjugating tomb 10 battles. But those are long-term goals, so you can still. That's so good. So you can actually build your force up even on a losing streak. So that's brilliant. It's got points values, but points values never survive first contact with release day. And we've got name generator. Sorry, that the most exciting part about this codex is that green light in the example armies. Suddenly, the most expensive monetarily model to obtain has become so much more fun because now you can buy other things to be your Transcendence of Town. I don't know what the limit is with that. I mean, they used an Age of Sigmar one. So I guess lesser of the law, that's what you got to go with. But I think the base size might be the same as the Balrog. I could use my Balrog as a Transcendence of Town. If that holds. Yeah, that's the most exciting thing about this. I'm sorry, I absolutely adore the new models. Of course, I wish we'd gotten a new Traz in the Infinite as well as Oracle and the Diviner, but I love all of these. The dice are perfect. As far as dice go, they're perfect. The data cards are pretty as anything. My special edition codex is going to have Pride of Place up here on top of my stack of Warhammer books. But the most exciting thing about this is we've been given the green light to proxy Transcendence of Towns. It's in the rulebook. It's in the codex, and I am a happy man right now. Okay, so I'm going to end the video there. I'm hoping I'm going to put this up on the day I recorded it as a second video today. Or I'll schedule it for Thursday when otherwise I just have a YouTube short going up. Because I'm recording this on the 18th of December 2023. But yes, there is it perfect? No, I've got issues with a few things in this codex. But is my hype level through the roof right now? Yes. Genuinely, I'm gonna hit stop on this video. I'm going to answer a few messages and emails, and then I am going to start browsing the entire range for other Transcendence Satan proxies, because we've got the green light to do it, and I could run three. I could run three Transcendence Satan. Forget what dynasty. Forget what type I'm running. I've got if I'm running 5, 6 Transcendence Satan and something as a warlord. I'm so happy right now. So I've got another 3 models on the old to paint pile, which makes it 3. So I've got those 3. My 2 red gobos, 2 immolators, and the 2 goblins from Rogue Hobby. So I've got a 9 model backlog right now. Which feels very manageable. Let me know if you like this video, because if you do, that sounds so cringy. If you like this type of video, thank you for sticking around to the end. Please let me know, because I will very happily I will very happily open every box of Warhammer I get on camera, not live. Open it on camera for the unfiltered reaction to everything, and upload that anytime I make a purchase. I'm not going to say I'm going to make it a regular thing, because I just can't imagine myself buying Warhammer that. Well, I can't imagine buying stuff regularly enough to make it a consistent feature of the channel. But if you do like this, please let me know. If you want to drop a like, that would be amazing. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate that as well. If you want to support me on Patreon, I'd really appreciate it as well. Comment if you want to leave a comment below. Just what do you think of the most recent codex? Maybe you've not been avoiding leaks the way I had been, and avoiding the discussions about it, so you could have an unfiltered reaction. But yeah, what do you think of the new Necron rules? And are you psyched to see official approval for proxies? Yeah. With that, I hope you're having a really good day, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.